Boom.
Boom.
Did I get it? Ah, all right, I got it. Audio captures and everything. We made it. Man, I'm getting really good at this transition to the live screen. Woo, we are getting there. Welcome back to the Rogues Guild. I have another set of interviews tonight. We get to see the other end of the meta spectrum tonight. I am joined by Gerardo Nunez. And
That's me.
Jose. How do you pronounce your last name?
Cuevas.
Cuevas. Nice. Joseph. Why did I say Jose? I'm thinking of Jose Cuervo. That's what I'm thinking of. I had it mixed up in my head. I'm like, I was thinking about your last name and I was like, I feel like I've heard this before. But no, it was Jose Cuervo. That's what I've heard of before. Never remember it, but always have it. So
it happens often.
Does it? I hope not. I apologize.
I'm fairly certain most of the Forcible players actually call me by a different name.
Uh-oh. What is it?
It's always like Joe, Joseph, Jose. Like, it's always some variant.
It's a J name. It's a random.
it's a J name that's close enough.
Jesus. Jeez. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, Jalen's coming up with all the names.
Yeah, Jalen is one of the ones who cost me many of the names.
Just changes it up every day. Oh my goodness. So, thank you very much for coming out to the Rogues Guild tonight. Thank you for doing this interview with me. I have all the questions in the world because I absolutely love what you guys were able to do at this event. I saw it firsthand. It clapped my cheeks. And so I have questions. So, first off, you guys traveled up from Texas. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
South Texas.
So, your guys' locals down there pretty bumping? Is it just you two? What's the situation
It's
down there?
like 4 players-ish.
4
pretty
players?
non-existent, yeah.
We took 3 of those 4.
Well, that's awesome, honestly. Like, to have that kind of tight-knit, like, when I tried to start a locals here, like, I couldn't ever get, like, to transition into that competitive mindset. So, like, it was always still me just going solo everywhere. So, it's awesome that you guys got a little small knit, but that you guys actually, like, run with them and go places. That's awesome. So, you guys drove from Texas. How many hours was that?
It was about 16 and a half. Yeah, about 16 and a half hours, just like drive up.
And you guys left Friday?
Oh, we took off
Thursday.
Thursday night,
Yeah.
and we got there like Friday about like lunches.
Yeah.
Like 12, I think 1.
Okay. That's not bad. Because, like, I was thinking, like, man, trying to cram 16 hours into a Friday, and then you guys showed up on Saturday and performed like
We've
that?
started making a point to leave earlier to the longer drives just because trying to get there right before and going straight to bed does not work.
Oh, my goodness. I bet not.
It makes it just so much more stressful.
Yeah. No, I've been in that boat before, and personally, I like rolling in probably around dinner time, and I like a couple hours to relax and decompress and get everything squared away for the next day. And yeah, couldn't imagine rolling in and just being like right out the gate trying to go force a will. Ugh, drive me nuts. So, of the 3 of you that came up, all of you running this same list?
No, actually, our other friend from here actually was playing Feith Mouge. I think he wound up getting 13th. It was real sad.
Yeah,
I
His
believe
first
he
time
was
going positive in a tournament. And
Your
on top
final
of that,
opponent in Swiss?
he was my final opponent in Swiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
he was a great opponent. I absolutely love playing him. He was telling me that was his first win in it that he had actually. Dude, that's
We're super proud of him. It was so close.
yeah, like that winning in match is like, ooh, it's on the heart, man. That's a stressor. So like that's being his first one, man. Kudos. Like he held his composure really well, and yeah, that was a really good match. So I'm glad he ended up top 16. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. So he was on Feith Mouge. So you two decided to go Violet, and you guys decided to go a traditional Violet, I would say, for the most part, except for maining these healing robots. I don't think that was a part of the original. So go ahead and tell me your thought process on like deciding to bring this deck. Did you guys do the online GP before? Like, I know Joseph, you did, and you were in top 8 and you had the laptop failure.
Yeah.
Gerardo, did you do the same?
So I did participate in the GP. At the time, I was like, I believe I was 3-0 whenever I played like Paul in round. No, I was 3-1 whenever I played Paul, I think. And I was actually like a few minutes late to our game, so I got a game 1 loss, and I was like, well, whatever. We'll just see where it goes. So I started playing, and game 1 was like a pretty like handily victory for me, and I was like, man, I thought this was gonna go a lot worse. Because I didn't get to test like the Feed Moose matchup all that much.
Yeah.
But like from the testing that I done with against like other decks, I kind of had like a feel for the game. So when I played against him and I beat him, I was like, I see. It's just that kind of matchup. And game 3 was just we went to like turns, I think, and I just barely couldn't close it out.
Okay.
So after that point, I was like really discouraged because my thought process was, so in a game 3 situation where I would have had like extra time, I would have been fine. So I was real bummed. I just didn't play the rest of my rounds out that tournament.
That sucks. So like in your guys' original list, so like on the online GP, like how much does this list vary from that, or does it at all?
Like 2 cards.
2 cards. What are those 2 cards?
3 or so cards off. We have an extra Aegis in the main.
Okay.
An extra Gradius in the main. I believe we only played 1 for the GP.
Okay. So you guys, when I'm thinking about the original list, VMR is asking me in the chat the original list not having healing robots. The list that Rogues Guild ended up coming up with and running in the first one. So like Stuart ended up, I think, 12th place with his list. I want to say Derek was on the same list as well. Yeah, I think Derek was. I'm pretty sure Derek was on Violet, and he was on the same list that Stuart was on. But I don't remember our list maining. Maybe just 1 healing robot.
Derek
but frankly, I
believe.
don't remember it being a part of our main list. Did Derek have healing robot in the main?
I believe he had 1.
I believe he had 1.
Okay. Because when I ended up shipping Stuart his deck, and I got it. That's the deck list here somewhere. Somewhere. Whatever. I'll find it later. But yeah, no, in my mind, I didn't think healing robot was a big part of the gimmick until I actually played against Joseph, and he for sure showed me the power of that when he used it to cast his 3rd Bahamut. So
Sometimes you have to cast Baha way too many times.
Man, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But so this list, 2 cards changed mainly just to Never End and Lycaons, right? Is probably my guess.
Yeah.
Any real changes to the sideboard here?
Well, we didn't really know what we were doing the first time with the side deck.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, we only slightly knew what we were doing. It's because, so for the most part, like the actual, what I had felt whenever I was like playing the deck, your flex spots are like super small.
Yeah.
And especially since like most of the time you're looking at Feeth Mouge matchups or just 6 Age Ruler matchups, you don't really change all that much, and everything else just made the deck feel too different or like just a lot slower whenever you're playing it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really a huge fan of that personally.
So in your
like
guys' testing, you guys did try like Violet with different colors. Like, had you guys heard about the Dark Violet? Like, was that?
Well, so I knew about like some of the black stuff, like playing discard and like playing Necro Barriers.
Mm-hmm.
I had like some issues with it because in my head I thought, that's kind of cool, like Necro Barrier for sure. Just as an answer to like a lot of cards.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the meta gets handled by a Necro Barrier. But
Really?
clearly
That's
you guys
funny.
made the right call though.
Yeah. It also came down to I forgot to bring extras.
Nice. That a boy.
But I wasn't feeling that good about them anyways, so I'm kind of glad this decision happened, or the forgetfulness happened.
Yeah, yeah, because I would say going into it, I expected less violets, because I felt like between the first GP and then the Italian GP, I thought the decks and the hate was just gonna be thick enough to like kind of warrant or push Violet from showing up, but it didn't. Violet still showed up in force, but your guys' original concept, the original concept from the first GP, is the one that had the most success, and everybody that tried to overthink Violet ended up getting punished this weekend, is what it seems like, right? So
That's
kudos,
kind of what I had seen. Yeah.
kudos to you guys for not overthinking it and logging the hours on a very, very solid concept and a very solid performance. I was very impressed with what I saw, and I'm very glad that you guys both ended up making it into top. So go ahead and walk me through the concept here on Violet. For those that don't know Violet, how do you play Violet?
Joseph, you want to take this one?
Yeah,
Does
so usually when you're playing Violet, like if you look at it just from the outset, you'll just be like, oh, it's just a super gimmicky turn 2 kill deck. But you actually have, since your atoms are built in with answers to pretty much every card that they designed for this set, you have a lot of flexibility in how you play.
Mm-hmm.
You can play your game slower, you can play your games faster depending on the matchup. So some of the decks that just outright kill you, sometimes you can stall them out just long enough to where you can out heal them with healing robots and white gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Some decks that are trying to build wide boards, you just have to wait until you can get a good solid Baja turn. And then, as you saw against control decks, you have to try and get a nice turbulence into multiple Bajas or something to stick. You also always have the option of just flipping and sometimes accidentally killing somebody because Brave Force gives you so much damage.
Yeah, so flipping is not really it's not really something that you're pushing
primary
for.
focus.
Yeah. I'm very
just
guilty of not flipping.
I am too. Every time I played the deck, and I think Steven ended up chewing me out pretty good on the last one, because I was burning him with atomic turbulences, like discarding one atom, and I'm like, it's a 1-cost 1k burn spell, and he's like, no, you idiot, you just flip. Why aren't you flipping? Because he has like he had the Outer World in hand. I wasn't flipping into it. I was just burning it. And I'm like, I don't think I have to. I think I'm just gonna win without it. He's like, fuck you, man. But yeah, no, I was always the same way. I think Violet was the judgment part of her. I think was too much, all in eggs in one basket, and I just never wanted to play a game like that.
I've only ever played a handful of games with flipping her. Only whenever I'll see like 2 or 3 Brave Force in hand and a tiny Violet,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just because at that point I know how to add 8 to 8. I know that eventually I'll get there.
Yeah. I got you. So it was mainly grinding for you the whole way, and then ending up landing a Bahamut. Is Turbulence Bahamut kind of that play?
Yeah, so some of them are like, most of the time it's just Bahamut kills, but Burning Robot still gets you there sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just gotta start swinging with tiny Violets. That one's pretty rare though.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. I think in a couple of the games, like Joseph had against Bremont, he had one game where he had like 3 tiny Violets that were just getting in there, and that's when Ryan realized that tiny Violet flies.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's actually that's a good card. But So the main concept then is just to kind of continue your engine, use the atoms to be the answers that you need them to be, and then land the Bahamut and just be patient, right? And I would say everyone that played the deck the way that you're saying is performing better with Violet than anybody that tries to be overly aggressive. It's there to be overly aggressive, but it's very baiting. If you try to go for those kind of play lines way too early, you will get punished. Everybody knows how to play around when Violet tries to go off sooner than it should. And I think that was one of the things that I really lacked in our matchup, Joseph, is I lacked the knowledge of playing a grindier game against Violet, going longer against Violet. In the majority of my testing and everything, it was decided one way or another in 3 turns, right?
Yeah.
And
that can happen, but you just got to keep in mind, you don't have to end your game in 3 turns. Baja does still just swing for 4,000. So if your opponent's not on Marius, sometimes it just kills him.
Yeah. No, it was a great match. So let's go ahead and talk about matches. Going into your first day, Gerardo, we'll go ahead and start with you, and then we'll go to Joseph on day 1. So tell me about your first 5 rounds of Force of Will on Saturday.
Okay, so my first round was just against Excalibur. Super cool dude, but it was, for the first game, it was pretty simple of, I got the Turbulence and then Bahamut him.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with the second game was just, he had made like a little mistake. He had like intimidations.
Yeah.
But I had baited, I baited out like him using his Energize to save one of his creatures by putting a guidance counter on it.
Because he had already established the Lenneth combo.
Well, he put out the Lenneth, but I thought an Exorcist Mage.
Yeah.
So he decided to hard cast a Fire Hero.
Okay.
And then past me was still holding up coin. Mm-hmm. And I said, at the end of your turn, sure, I'm going to go ahead and... I think I discarded like a Dark Promise to try to kill his Fire Hero. Because I was like...
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what it does.
Yeah.
And he tried to protect it, and I was like...
Turbulence.
Well, you just tapped out for that. That feels kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care about him protecting it because then I just had the Turbulence for, I think, 2 or 3. I think it was just 2. And I was able just to, just drop a Bahamut.
Yeah. I think at that point, tapping out into Violet, you're probably going to end up getting Bahamut. But,
yeah.
So,
my game,
so no,
second round, though.
No real issues, like Excalibur isn't really pushing. I mean, because I think Intimidation, you're right, is probably the only real answer in white that kind of helps.
Yeah, if he had actually been able to resolve the Intimidation, the next turn he should have been able to potentially establish a real board. Because he had I think he said he had another Fire Hero in hand, and he was also able to flip his ruler, so he could actually do a lot. He could have gone off that next turn, but thankfully I didn't have to worry about all of that.
Yeah. So round 1, nice tune-up. So round 2?
Round 2 was when I played against Brandon Bremont, and funnily enough, against all my testing, I lost game 1 whenever he was on Feith Mouge, but I won game 2 when he was on Feith Alm. And both of them were very, very one-sided games.
So the same thing ended up happening for Joseph on stream. Why is that?
So, I personally think that Feith Alm was a lot better against Violet.
Yeah.
It was just like luck of the draw. Because the first game, I just didn't draw heart to heart, and I also didn't draw like very many good items for starting off. So he had a Lycion, and I was like digging for one of my 3 Aegises for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I didn't find them. He had also managed to double Curse of Ragnarok me over the first 2 turns. He hit my Bahamut, and I think he hit a Turbulence. So that was pretty hard in the beginning because I already didn't have a good hand, and he took away my good follow-ups for later.
Mm-hmm.
So game 1 went pretty handily in his favor. Game 2 that went a lot better in my favor because I just wound up drawing like 2 Bahamuts and a healing robot, and he wasn't able to curse them.
Yeah. So then how'd game 3 go?
Game 3 was honestly a really good back and forth, where I was just like trying to play patient, holding on to multiple Bahamut's. I was trying to hold on to 2 at the time because I wanted him just to do something reckless, like spend mana on something he didn't need to. Unfortunate for me, he didn't do that. So we were just like both playing really patiently. I was having him negate my Burning Robots, the 3rd Bahamut that I drew, while still holding the other 2. I'm just like, if I could just find a way to make myself feel better about playing this card. But it was just that it went into time, and of course he's on Alm, I'm not.
Yeah.
My healing robot got me some life, but not enough to make the game a little more solid in my favor.
Yeah.
So that was just the draw.
Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, it's hard to bait a Bremont. That's for sure.
He's a very good player.
So 1-0-1 after 2. So what happened at 3?
The next one I played against, I think, Thiam Galvez. He was on Feith Mouge. I felt so bad because we were having like a good time just kind of talking while we were playing. But he had played a Research Institute, like off of Priscia Chain, and I went to discard Aegis with Violet Effect to chase on its trigger to pull in a stone. And I just said, pitch Aegis, I'm gonna pop the Institute. So he goes, yeah, that's fine, that resolves. And he puts it in graveyard. Then he resolves the trigger to get a stone. And then he looks at his untapped Mouge and he realizes he made the mistake of not just removing my graveyard.
Yep.
So that was a very, very unfortunate game 1 for him.
Yep. That happens. Shit.
Yeah, so I was able to cast my Bahamut that turn and win. So I felt kind of bad. The next game was a lot better for us. We actually had a pretty good back and forth, and then I still ended up taking it in the end, but it was a lot better of a game. Still pretty patient.
Yeah.
But just the normal thing, like from my testing, that it's hard for Feith Mouge to not die to a single Baja.
Correct. Very correct.
And then there was my round 4 against Victor Harris. Oh, that was kind of rough. Game one was fine. I just lost it because I didn't have a good enough hand to start off with. He did. And there's nothing really on that. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
The next game was that man did not have any negates in hand for whenever I started trying to play Bajas, but he had a Mouge Dart. So he tapped it to draw a card. He drew the Welser to untap Mouge. So I'm just like, you know what? This is fine. It's not really, but I tried to play. So I'm sorry, I tried to play Turbulence first. Then he negated that. And then I tried to play Baja, and he was just like, yep, I drew Mouge Dart again. And he drew the second Welser, and I was like, well, it happens.
Well,
that was pretty rough.
Yeah, top decking 2 answers. That's a little rough. I can't say I didn't top deck an answer during that whole event like that. It felt
so,
like
I expect to like see 1 or 2 top decks a game or like a match or something. But
oh yeah, no, it felt like back in the day, like Spirit Stone sack into an answer, right? It was just like Mouge Dart tap into an answer, and you get there sometimes. Heart of the cards, yeah, Victoria. So, it's absolutely correct.
At the time, I was like a little bit tilted, and I was like, all right, well, I'm 2-1-1 and going into round 5. God, I hope it's not a real deck I have to play against.
Good.
And it wasn't. It was just Violet. That deck sucks.
Ah, Violet Mirror. So you had one Violet Mirror, and
yes, sir.
Was it the black version?
No, actually, it was not.
A traditional.
It was just traditional Violet. He was main decking a Firestorm, and I wasn't. So game 1, I drew a Void, and I felt super good about it.
Yeah.
Because he got to like 4 different atoms, I was like, haha, my answer is here. Because he discarded 1 for Violet, activated the effect, or triggered the effect, and in response, of course, I was like, haha, my Violet time. Draw, discard Void, remove your graveyard, Firestorm you. Oh.
You made it.
Well, all right.
Jeez. All right.
He got me with 2 turbulences, so that was the end of that game.
So lost game 1. All right.
And then I brought it back really simply. just by playing more patiently, just honestly, it was mostly just having a better hand, and the choice of going second with my Firestorm really saved me. I did the exact same playback to him.
Okay.
And thankfully the healing robot saved me from, well, him burning me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He had to void all 3 games, so that was painful for me. But that healing robot made it a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 healing robots in the main. I like it. I like it. So then game 3 went kind of the same way?
Yep.
Yep.
And that was just about how game 3 went too.
Jeez. That's crazy. So then after all that, you're X1-1 and get right in on the 8th seed.
On breakers, yep.
Right in there. That a boy. That a boy. So you're in. You've already seen that Joseph is in. So Joseph, how'd you end up getting there?
So funnily enough, our first 2 games were actually against the same opponent. I played Bremont round 1, and then I played Gerardo's Excalibur opponent round 2.
Oh, so how was your Bremont match? So
my Bremont game did not go the same way it did on stream. It was actually opposite. I very one-sidedly won the game 1 when he was on Moosh.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling comfortable, but I assumed he was siding into Almirius because I think I saw him talking about it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into game 2, and it's a long game. We're grinding each other out. I just can't stick about how he just discards my cards at the very opportune times, hitting my extra Bajas, my Turbulences. I eventually deck out after trying to grind him out long enough. In Swiss, I ended up siding out both my improved burning robots, so I didn't have that to like fall back on. So I was purely just trying to stick to the Baja.
Mm-hmm.
And I had sided in the 4th Ages, of course, and Academy Guards, and I just never found an opportune time to Academy Guard him. That also didn't kind of hinder my plans in that game. And then game 3 went kind of the same way. He opened up Lycaons and Curse of Ragnarok super early, managed to hit 2 Bajas by like turn 3 or turn 4.
Yeah.
So I was struggling on that 1 Baja left in deck. I believe it was near the bottom in that game as well. Although that time I didn't know because I had Mary Bell at some point, so I shuffled it to the bottom.
Yeah.
So we went in time. As we went in time, I look at everyone. I'm like, don't worry, this isn't going to take 3 turns. I sack the rest of my stones, draw the rest of my deck, and don't get there.
Jeez. So, all right. So you started off 0-1, and then went on a rampage.
After that, I played 2 Excaliburs in a row. The first one, I hadn't play tested against Excalibur since before the online GP, so I wasn't super in the groove of it. But I lost game 1, kind of drew an awkward hand against it. No, didn't really have any kill spells. I had too many Brave Forces, and he got a turn 2 combo off. Then post side, I sided an Exorcist Mage and my Garden. I drew my sideboard at very good times to stop him from comboing off. Then just stuck a Baja. The same went for the round 3 that Excalibur opponent. Just had Turbulence to interact with him. He was trying to make a board. Just kind of wipe off everything but the Faria before he can do anything crazy shenanigans. Got an Exo Mage just in time in the last game for his bringing in a play Lenith.
Nice.
So that ended up going quite well. Round 4, I played against Derek, who was on the Black Violet. This was my only mirror of the day. It was it was interesting. I knew what he was on. We had talked prior to the tournament, so I had an idea that his game 1 was more tech to the Thief Moosh matchup. He had more Necro Berries. He had more the hate cards for that, and he mains Firestorm, which I was aware that he liked from the online GP. Game 1, he kind of bunted in the end. He made this really nice play where he flipped his Violet, discarded items, killed her on my turn so he can activate everything. But he discarded, I think he discarded 1 or 2 atoms too little, so he couldn't Firestorm to kill me in response to my my Mary Bella to heal my life back. So I just kind of stabilized there, and he'd use all his resources setting up that play. So kind of through the first game.
Got it.
The second game, it was he sided out of all of the field storms, so it was more of a typical mirror just with him on black, and my hand just kind of drew into a kill quicker than his did. There was nothing super exciting about that. He's a very good player, so I fully respected him when we were playing. I wasn't trying to do anything cheeky.
I'm gonna have to take note of that. This is Derek's fault. I saw you in top. I'll write that down.
and then my round 5 winning. I got paired up against Ryan, who ended up scooping me into top 8, so I can get my invite.
Cool. Oh, Ryan too. I'll write that down. Ryan's. No, it was awesome. It was awesome that we ended up playing that, and that you ended up going to the finals. I was very happy watching that game. It was
at the end of the day, I'm just glad that the finals was a very entertaining match. Like,
it really was.
Everybody in top 8 is super cool, super friendly, and as I said, I believe you're the only person there who I hadn't like talked to or interacted with very much.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
So it was great to meet you.
2 years since I'd been at a tournament.
And then everybody else was friends. So at the end of the day, whoever got it, I was happy for them.
Yeah. So after that top, Gerardo goes nuts, makes a lot of noise, super happy. Where do you guys go? Do you guys go get some dinner, back to the hotel? Do you guys test? Do you guys like what was your thing last the night before the top?
We took a page out of Mike Rance's book, and we actually went to go buy some alcohol.
Yeah. It's a winning recipe right there. Well, ish.
50% of the time works every time, so he told me.
Perfect. So then Sunday morning, top 8, Gerardo. How confident are you that you're going to beat Tom?
I'm like 95% sure. I love Tom.
Really?
Like,
you were like...
That man managed to lose to 2 violets in at the online GP.
Well,
I
mean,
didn't know it.
Talking to him, like, technically, like, yeah, he lost to 2, but, like, really, he lost to 3, I guess. And then with this one, he's 0 for 4 against Violet in Top Cut. And I was like...
Bad, especially because him being first seed, I was like, dang, I should be respectful of him. But at the same time, I'm really confident against Feith Mouge.
I tell you what, it was, I was like, damn, alright, cool. Cause I didn't know how the tops were gonna go. And in my mind, I thought both Violets were gonna get taken care of within the first top 8. And
don't worry, they did get taken care of.
No, not at all. Not at all, right? So
they padded the way for us.
But no, that was awesome. You did exactly what you were supposed to, and then Joseph did what he was supposed to, and so by top 4, your boy had his invite, right? So at that point, you guys going into top 4 together, right? So what made you decide to scoop Joseph in to try to go all the way instead of you going all the way yourself?
Bullied him.
Oh, you bullied him? You took him aside in the restroom and you said, "Look here."
No, I bullied him. I actually, I'm currently collecting some bronze rulers, and I like sentimental value for the ones that my friends won, and he's the only one who hasn't won me a bronze ruler, so I kind of bullied him into playing for 3rd.
Perfect.
Basically, yeah.
So
immediately after the GP ended, I took his bronze ruler and I had it in the silver one.
Sweet. So you really like that bronze look, eh?
We just already had so much, and it was just like...
It's already become a thing?
Yeah, it's just kind of been the thing since we started.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, personally, like, in the metal rulers, like, gold is cool, but honestly, I think that silver one is, like, the most gorgeous of the 3
especially
that you can
the
get.
most recent ones. The gold just doesn't stand out as much as it used to. So it's got to be like silver or bronze if you're talking about looks.
Yeah.
Although I do miss the acrylics; those were neat.
Definitely missing the acrylics.
Yeah. Yeah, the acrylics were that was a nice thing we did for a while. So during top 4, you are waiting patiently. Are you still like nerves jacked? Are you absolutely still on the edge of your seat, or after top 8, after you got your unpaid, did you relax a little?
I'm in all honesty, like after we played, I was still super nervous, but Breamon and Victor, both great friends. I've played against Breamon a few times, once before, and then once in Swiss the day before. I've known Victor since the first GP when we actually started really attending GPs.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that it was them, it was like it kind of amped me up even more because I was super nervous about both of them. But I also know that they both tend to take quite a while in playing, and I would say by the end of their first game, my nerves have already like had the time to pass. I was ready. I was sitting down with Gerardo the entire time because we didn't play. So at that point, I just kind of like settled down, and then it was just excitement to be able to play my friends again. You know?
Yeah. So go ahead and walk me through the championship game there a little bit, because I would say, actually, let's fast forward.
There you go.
So game one, Bremont gets it, which I don't think I expected, right? Because we had talked before, and you were like, I don't want him to be in Almerius.
I was more confident on the move, and that was the game I dropped.
Yep, and then you won the game against Almerius, though. I believe also a 3 Bahamut turn, I think,
yes,
is what it ended up being. Okay, so now we're going in game 3. Okay, we're going game 3. And I guess it was a little biased for all of us that are watching, because Ryan Miles did an absolute fantastic job of making us all feel like Brandon had zero fucking chance ever, and that the game was yours from Bremont's opening hand. Like, so for an hour until like the very end, when Ryan was like, "Oh my God, Bremont takes it in the whatever," I'm like, "Wait, what?" This was his game the whole flipping time. So, first question: you sided out the healing robot. Was that you sided out?
I forgot to side it back in, going to game 3.
Okay, so it was something that you normally side out for a game 2?
Not normally, but against Bremont, I was like, after playing in Swiss, I realized I don't need 2 of these. He's gonna let one stick. He's done it before. He's more confident in stopping my turbulences and my Bahas and getting everything out. So I only need 1 to triple Baja. But I also knew that going to game 3, I wanted 2 so I can get up life, because Almerius has so much life. I forgot to side back in going into game 3 because long game, and I just completely blanked on the fact that we're going
side,
this time.
Period.
So yeah, so going from 2 to 3, I just did not side period.
Oh shit! Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy. So that game, as it was going on, Bremont throws 4 Lycaons down and has a hand of, I don't know, maybe 2 cards, and I think he suyed you, or he cursed you, so he had like 1 curse in the grave. What are you thinking at that moment? Like, are you staring at 4 Lycaons and being like, "Fuck, I'm screwed"?
When you see 4 Lycaons, you stare at them and you go, "I have a chance." He's down on resources. He doesn't have moves to fix his hand.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just I was hoping I would see resources before he did. It took me too long. I knew my 3rd Baja was second to last card in my deck from Mulligans.
Yeah, and I think his first curse actually ripped one of them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the one in your opening hand, that first curse, like, watching that game was really interesting, because Bremont only had a couple of moves, right? But each one was done with such precision. I was just like, I didn't realize the cuts that were being made until he won the game. You know what I mean? Like,
I would say very much that game was me and Bremont like just looking at each other, and me going, "Okay, you have to answer with this set of answers. Is this the set of answers you have?" And him going, "Yes, I do." So that kind of went on for like the entirety of that game. I was like, "Okay, well, you have to have Lumia right here. Do you have Lumia right here?" And he goes, "Lumia right here." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll try again next time." Or the turn my turbulence resolved, I'm like, "Okay, you don't have enough negates. You have to Necroberry right here. Do you have Necroberry right here?" He goes, "You have Necroberry right here." So I go, I can't draw the last card to the boss. So I have to wait. So I just passed. It was very much one of those games where it's just, can I do this? Every month's like, no, you can't do that. You should have tried something else.
It seemed, in hindsight, it seemed that way. Like I said, Ryan Miles, I think, fucked up that whole experience for the whole audience because, like you were the supreme champion for 30 minutes at least until you weren't.
It was a game. Ryan came up to me and said, "Joe, don't watch the commentary." I look like a fool. I just kept saying, "You won this game. You won this game." So I haven't looked at it yet.
It was absolutely it sucked. It absolutely sucked because I'm driving down the road, right? So I'm driving down the road. I'm heading home. I got it playing on my car speakers and everything. I'm not really watching. I'm listening, right? Because I have to drive this car. And so it's like, I'm just listening to all this, and I'm like, yeah, 4 Lycaons totally makes sense. Oh, yeah, this second healing robot's going to come down whenever. Oh, yeah, he'll get to that third Bahamut whenever, you know. Oh, yeah, he'll be able to play around. Oh, shit, he lost.
All that did happen, just everything came down a turn too late. Aside from the second healing robot, which I forgot to put in. It was just one of those, can you answer me on this exact turn? And he was like, yes, I can.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's really interesting that, like, in hindsight, when you're thinking about it, right, the play line that he used to win was a life game strategy of double Lumia, right?
Yeah.
That was his win there.
I totally threw that last turn. I completely, like, blanked on it, and I just activated the Violet for the Gradius instead of just casting the Gradius to push the damage through. So I didn't have access to my Void, so when he goes Judgment, I was like, I messed up. I can't get rid of this Lumia now.
Yeah. So the Gradius, what is the... Oh, the Lumia was blocking?
He was blocking with the Melfi, and I wanted to kill it to push the damage through to get him lower. But for some reason, my mind just went straight to activate Violet instead of tapping one of my 5 stones that I have for whatever reason.
It was a lot of stones, yeah. Like, that was... It, watching that game, I was... In my mind, when I think about Violet, and the reason why I didn't play Violet, like, you don't know me, but I'm actually a red player at heart. Control games, I don't like them. And I don't like control decks. I love burn, I love red, I love combo. So Violet was actually the deck that I wanted to play. What I struggled with the most was the concept that I have 6 cards, and if they answer these 6 cards, I don't think I can win a game of Force of Will, right? And so in my mind, I'm like, the Mouge Feast, right, just can cancel these 6 cards, right? Or interact with them with relative ease. And it was one of those things that, like, in my head, you know, it was like, yes, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way. And watching Bremont do it, watching Bremont take Violet to deck out, right? Like, completely changed the way that I thought about that matchup, right? And this is from me not testing too much, right? I have, you know, 2 kids, and, you know, I've had a very busy summer, so I didn't get to grind like I normally do. So seeing all of this, seeing that this Mouge Feast was able to grind Violet to a deck out by letting them do whatever the hell they wanted to do, except for XYZ cards, right? I was like, this is how I wanted to do it in my head. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah, Bremont actually, all 4 games Bremont won against me were by deck out. Well, except the finals, which was technically live, but it would have been deck out if that got on longer.
Yep. No, it was fantastic to watch, and I didn't understand it because I felt like every time I'd played, it was a decision had to be made by 3, and when Violet was on 4 stones, I was like, man, I can't do anything here. But I don't know. It was beautiful to see. Seeing how did you feel when it was all over?
I was obviously I wasn't as ecstatic as I would have been, but seeing Bremont win, having Bremont was the only person who took me to time both days because he hates me, I believe. Once
an hour and a half too. Yeah, an hour and a half finals went to time. Like, holy crap.
But at the end of the day...
And one of them's supposed to be a burn deck. Like a turbo go-go deck. Man.
I couldn't help but feel just happy that we were all there. You know, I still got to come out play the game with all of my friends. I got my invite at the very least.
Amen, brother.
So, and Gerardo got third, so I got my my bronze.
Amen. Amen. Victoria's saying, shake my head, we were watching the stream, and it was about a minute behind. I bet that probably freaked you out then, because you're, like, watching this stream, and nothing is happening or whatever. You don't, like, again, in my mind, I don't think Bremont was ever winning until the very end, so, like, it probably wasn't until, like, Bremont screams, and you're just like, wait, what happened? I'm sure that was probably confusing as hell. And at the end, Joseph won, and Brandon jumps and yips. Dead quiet, and then Brandon jumps up, and we all look up. Yeah. I bet. Nah, hearing him on stream, that was a very satisfying moment for him, because I understand Brandon's competitive heart, and I understand that release that needs to happen on victory or on defeat. Like when it's over, that release that you have to, that pressure valve has to go, and like, so to hear that, I like that word, the yip. Like I felt like, you know, that was a very satisfying sound to hear, you know, that he had did it, and you know, and that he'll be going to Worlds, and the company's gonna pay for it. Team USA. Yes. So, congratulations, dude. Congratulations on having your invite. Any concerns? We're going to be able to take this unpaid, and we're going to Japan 100%?
Oh, for sure.
For me, it's about 90%.
90%?
Gerardo will be for sure.
Perfect. Dude, Team USA. Congratulations, my friends.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to go see all my friends in Japan, because Brandon has his invite too, so that's more friends there.
More friends. Gotta represent. Any final comments on the weekend, on the deck, on the matchups, on anything?
No. I'll publicly apologize to Jeremy for making him panic when I cast Maribella with the Exorcist Mage out, because he ran up to the table the moment he ran up. I immediately removed the Exorcist Mage again. So after I did that, I turned around to see Jeremy there. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just, just doing my thing.
Well, you know, just casting cards and then, you know, exiling them, just burning will for no reason.
Asking Brandon to mess up, you know, can you negate this, please? You know? All right, I negated it myself.
Never mind, I got this. Hold my beer.
One of us has got to do it.
Perfect. Well, Joseph, Gerardo, thank you very much for stopping out and talking with me tonight. I appreciate you guys very much. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on being fantastic human beings. I enjoyed your guys' presence. I enjoyed getting to talk with you guys and hang out with you guys. So I hope to see you guys more often, specifically in Japan. Just got to work my way into that somehow now. So
yeah, Minnesota in the online GP.
I can do the onlines. I got a wedding for Minnesota, so I won't be at Minnesota. So yeah, we'll try in August. Dang. We'll get her in August.
All right.
I wish you the best of luck. Thanks
you for having guys. Us. Awesome. Have a good night.
Yeah, for sure. You too.
All right, my friends. So Violet showing up and representing. One of the things that I really appreciate about this list is that this is an example of what can happen sometimes when a play group or a team big brains themselves too far down into the meta, right? So this is a deck that didn't move. It did not move at all. It is the original list for just about, you know, up one Gradius, up one Aegis, or as they said. So this deck didn't move. This should have been an absolute 100% known concept. But in some of our play groups, this deck specifically, we felt like it had to morph, right? That in its original concept, that, you know, it just was not up to par, right? And that it needed to morph to have an easier matchup in this Mujdart feasting meta, right? And Joseph and Gerardo proved otherwise. They said, nah, it was good, and we'll just continue to log hours, and we'll get it the next time. And sure as hell, they pushed all the way, and Bremont's the only one that got in their way. So hopefully I get an interview with Bremont here this weekend. I've already reached out to him. He is hopefully going to be available sometime this weekend whenever we talk more on Discord. So I would like to talk to him about his deck and his tournament and his experiences. More specifically, I kind of want to talk about the data for Bremont, because a fact that might be a fact or might not be a fact. We've had very few metas where we've had multiple New Frontiers tournaments in a set, like before a next set comes out. And of the two that I know of, Bremont has won the second tournament in both of those instances. The man is precision lethal when the meta is established. He comes in with a flipping scalpel and shreds you. So I would like to talk to him, figure out if that is a something unique for him, or if it's just coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but I also want to know if I am incorrect on that data, if there are other metas that we've had where we've had multiple New Frontiers tournaments before rotation. So anyway, I want to talk to him. I want to talk to Victor. We still have the Rogues Guild roundtable that we're going to talk about our tournament experience, my deck, stuff along those lines. If anybody wants to talk Nidhogg. I do like Nidhogg. But tomorrow night, I have a game with Steven. We are first round's opponents in OLS, so I will be trying an Arla list that our boy Patrick has just thrown up in our Discord. So I'm taking a look at that. I'll make a couple modifications and try to run that in the OLS, just to relax until the next meta comes out, while we start kind of grinding away for August. All right, so if you like what you see and if you want to see more, make sure you are following us on our Twitch channel. Also, if you want to hang out with us in our private Discord, please just subscribe to our Twitch channel here. A subscription here will get you into our private Discord, and you can hang out with there, talk Force of Will. The community does not feel so small once you get into a good group of people that love talking about the game. So with that, thank you very much for joining the Rogues Guild tonight, and we will see you next time, all right? GG.